Welcome to Machine God Eats, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Darling. I figured I'd do a video outside today because it is a lovely day here in Las Vegas for January. But do y'all remember, what was it, about 2 years ago in July of 2024, a woman named Sonya Massie called the police because she believed that there was an intruder outside her home. The police showed up to her house, and one of the officers, a man named Sean Grayson, winded up murdering Miss Sonya Massie. See, she was under a little bit of mental distress. There was a body cam that showed that the officers instructed her to turn off the stove. She had a pot of water boiling on the stove. So she goes to turn off the pot of water, and when she did, this cop opens fire on her, killing her right there. I believe she was 36 years old. He was 30. Well, that cop, Sean Grayson, was just found guilty this week. Well, he was sentenced this week. He was found guilty, I think, last month. But he was found guilty, sentenced this week to 20 years in prison. But you're not hearing a lot about it. And when that story kicked off in July of 2024, it affected me. Seeing her get murdered for nothing after she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," drove something through me. And I felt probably like a lot of these protesters outside feel right now. I felt like a revolution was needed because it stabbed at me to be able to see something like that. And that wouldn't be the first time I obviously saw a black person be murdered on camera by the state, but that one particularly affected me because she had done nothing wrong, and I could just tell by the man's voice, this Sean Grayson's voice, they had a lot of malice in his heart, but it affected me. But the only reason I was even able to see that story was because of the internet. Because of my engagement, because it was fed to me to let me know that this is an injustice that's going on in my country. I didn't know that woman. I didn't know those cops that went into that situation. That's not a situation that I would have known about had it not been for this magical device here, through this phone, through this internet, through our ability to communicate and debate about these things, okay? But ever since then, ever since Sonya Massie, a lot of stuff has happened. It seems like every week there's a new episode of something being fed to me to draw my attention away from being creative, away from trying to make something and create something in this world that's positive. Every week I'm being fed, along with the rest of us who engage in the internet or the news or TV, are being fed fear and death and all these things. Not that we shouldn't have a feeling about these things, but they shouldn't affect our lives to the point that we're going out there and getting ourselves harmed because of something that's being fed to us, right? Myself, I've never experienced police brutality. I walk around every city I'm in as free as a freaking bird, and nobody bothers me, okay? I don't bother nobody bothers me. And I'm not saying that people don't get bothered, but there are situations where because of the way I am and because of the way I present, I'm not going to interject myself in any law enforcement's business because it doesn't have anything to do with me, even if I completely disagree with what's going on. Let's take the whole George Floyd situation that happened when that cop kneeled down on that man's neck. A lot of us saw that video and we condemned the people around for just filming, right? We were like, well, what did you do? Well, what could they have done? It was the person supposed to pull out a gun and shoot the officer? Probably. Those officers was found guilty, right? Should somebody have shown up to where Sonya Massie was and pulled a gun on those officers to protect her? You know, like, how does this work? How does protection work? I mean, you have to literally ask yourself these questions as you're constantly being fed these traumatic ass stories, these trauma fucking porn stories, right? And they're not stories, obviously it's real life, but you're being fed this stuff for a reason. And I'm bringing this up because obviously what's going on in the country right now has a lot of people riled up, okay? To the point where they feel like their activism has to become something that's more tangible. They have to put their bodies out there between law enforcement and the subject, whoever the subject of law enforcement's investigation are. Obviously, in this particular substance, we're talking about ICE, we're talking about illegal immigration, we're talking about people who are citizens of this country, who have a privilege that living in America, being born in America has afforded them, who are choosing to get out there and put their bodies on the line for people that probably didn't go through the legal process to be here, to interject themselves in legal law investigation, right? Like, this is what's going on. Like I say, for right or wrong, you can agree with it, you can not agree with it, but at a certain point you're making a choice when you go out there to put yourself on the line for that, because you're being affected by something that you're witnessing here on the internet. You're being fed that these ICE officers are going to these neighborhoods and they're breaking up families, they're putting people here, and so you're seeing this and you're like, yo, this is Nazi Germany all over again. I keep saying that, this is Nazi Germany all over again. First off, ladies and gentlemen, the Nazis, y'all know where they got their playbook from? Y'all know where the Third Reich got their playbook on how to treat the Jewish population and the disenfranchised there in Nazi Germany at the time. They got their playbook for how the Americans treated their Negroes from the Jim Crow era. Y'all look it up. That's where they got how to subjugate a fucking people. Okay, so when y'all say, "Oh, it's turning into Nazi Germany," you black people, you guys are gonna if you guys don't get out there and put your bodies on the line, it's gonna be you. It's always been us. We are the playbook for the fucking 20th century and 21st century way to subjugate a goddamn people, to demoralize a people, to use ideological subversion to confuse and divide a people. We are the fucking playbook. So when I see white liberals get out there and say, "You guys are gonna be next," it's crazy to me. I'm bringing this up because a lot of these white liberals have never really looked at the trauma of watching somebody be executed and being able to relate it to somebody that they know, right? So when they see somebody like Renee Good get killed, it's like, oh my God, all of a sudden the government is tripping. The government has always been tripping. They did it to the state executed Sonya Massie just in 2026, and it was like, oh well, right? The cop was convicted, but you're not hearing a lot of news about it because it doesn't drum up the fear. It's justice being served. 20 years is a good sentence for that, right? I feel like he should have got life for executing that woman, but 20 years, okay, we can start with that. But they're not gonna put that out there because it's not gonna elicit an emotion. But they're damn sure show you him shooting her in the face to get that emotion out of you. They'll damn sure show you a migrant who's being separated from their children, the children who are probably people who were born here due to the fact that we have a birthright citizenship situation because of the 14th Amendment, because of the descendants of slaves. Y'all tend to forget that American subjugation has always been, like, for at least within the literature of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, as far as 3/5 of the person, has always been written to subjugate black people. So when y'all sit there and say, "Oh, y'all are gonna be next," we know what this system is, but we're not choosing to let this internet and these TVs and these people put us out there to get persecuted by the state. Look at a person like Don Lemon and his investigative journalist friends who decided to go into that church, right? Now, I'm not saying that you can't be a journalist, you can, but you don't have a right to what do you call it? Invade somebody's place of worship in order to report on the journalism. It's the same thing that y'all said that the January 6ers did when they went into the fucking Capitol. You can't do it. And if you're a journalist in there filming and all that, you're probably gonna get persecuted by the state. What is good for one side is gonna be good for the other side, because it's both two wings of the same bird. They're gonna use a act that you think is gonna protect you in one sense, if you're on the left, right? Okay, the Insurrection Act, these people were creating an insurrection on January 6th, and they're going to use that same act to say, okay, you're doing this same thing against these people. You see what I'm saying? You see, same wing and same bird. They don't give a fuck who they persecute, as long as they're able to persecute people. And for the people who felt like they've been protected and like we've lived in this fucking la-la land where the state wouldn't put their fucking boot in your ass if you decide to get in between what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to get in the middle of a fucking investigation, the boot of the goddamn state is going to stomp on you. Like I say, for better or worse. This has always been reality. This is not a new concept here in America that we have to just fucking adjust to. What it is about knowing how to survive, knowing how to be, knowing how to live the life that you live. So many of us live a life of fucking privilege. If we literally got off the internet, right, and we sat here and said, okay, this is how I'm living, this is my life. My life is in shambles right now. I don't have what I want out of life right now. Why am I so focused on what everything else is going on in the world when my life is falling apart? Take in mind, let's go back to the Sonya Massie thing, 2024, July, right? I believe she got killed July 6, 2024. I remember it, telling you it affected me. But at the same time, my personal life was falling apart. Remember, just a month after that, you can go back in my videos, just a month after that, I would be living in this goddamn park. You understand? I would be living in a park. So while I'm focused on everything that's going on, the injustice that's going on in the country, my own life is falling apart. My own relationships falling apart. I'm not focused on that. I'm not focused on what's about to happen. The fact that I'm literally about to be living out on the goddamn street. I know it's coming. I can feel that this relationship is already dissolved. But where am I? I'm focused on, okay, justice and this and that. We got to do something. But at the same time, I'm saying we got to do something. But all I'm doing is making videos and getting on here complaining. What am I really doing? What I'm doing is I'm doing exactly what the machine designed me to do. Be a reactionary to something that I'm not probably willing to go out there and put my body on. What am I going to do? go out there and protest, you know, with the cop got arrested almost immediately, right? He's been convicted. And these stories that they don't play for us, there's countless stories that they don't play for us that we don't see where justice happens or injustice happens either way. But the ones that are the most salacious are the ones that come to us, the ones that they need us that they could use us to put those strings on us to puppeteer us in the way that they want us to puppeteer. Those are the stories that we see. Those are the stories that affect us. And those are the stories that we get on here and have debates about and back and forth for and all of this. Meanwhile, celebrities and politicians and people in very privileged positions are telling you that you need to get out there and start a revolution, put your body on the line. Meanwhile, they're living in mansions. They're not going to go out there and fucking protest and put their bodies on the line. Like this, what is it? The guy from Breaking Bad. He was on the red carpet looking as fly as he want to be. Freaking scarf, freaking nice suit, nice situation going on, well groomed, look like he smelled amazing, right? Look like money, right? Talking about, oh, it's time for a revolution. Brother, you're living in a lap of fucking privilege. You're telling these people who are probably disenfranchised, whose lives are probably in shambles, that they need to go out there and put their bodies on the line, knowing goddamn well that you're not going to go out there and put your body on the line for this so-called revolution that you're talking about having. It sounds good to you to see people go out there that don't have a lot, that maybe don't even have a lot going on upstairs, okay? To go out there and put their bodies on the line and hurt themselves. I mean, look at a good portion of the people who are going out there getting themselves fucking stumped on and getting hurt. These people don't have a lot going on for themselves in their own life, okay? And if they do have something going on in their life, if they have accomplished something, like what's the guy, the Pretty guy, so, you know, you got a good job or whatever, you don't feel like you're important enough in your life, so you feel like you have to interject yourself into something that ain't got shit to do with you because the internet and the TV got you so goddamn riled up. I gotta do something. I gotta go out there. I gotta kick a cop car. I gotta go out there. I gotta throw a fucking firebomb. That's crazy. Why? Like, there has to be a reason, right? And it's not, and what I mean by a reason, obviously, you say, okay, the story at hand, whatever I'm supposed to be offended by is the reason. No, I mean, what is the goal? If I sit up here and I say, okay, I'm gonna go out here and throw a smoke bomb or a firebomb at the police, what is the goal? What is, like, there has to be a goal besides just me being arrested and me pissing them off. That doesn't do anything. You understand? If I go out here and I vandalize the community, what does that do? It does nothing. It does nothing for the cause. It does nothing but give the state more fucking ground to sit up there and make that boot stump on you a little bit fucking harder. That's all I'm saying. Just look at your own life. What's going on in your life? And the same energy that you get on here with that internet for, the same energy that I get on here with this internet with, all of us, right? The same energy that we have for everybody else, right? We can sit there and take that same advice and apply it to our lives. That's all I'm saying. We all have the answers for what everybody else is supposed to do. You need to get out there and protest. You need to get out there and get your life in order. You need to do that. If I were you, I would do this. If I were you, that's what we all say, that bullshit, bro. But can we literally look at ourselves and say, okay, if I were you, this is what I would do, or this is what I wouldn't do? That's where it starts. And that's where the world begins to change. And y'all can say, well, what about ICE and all? Let that shit play out the way it needs to play out. Especially you privileged Americans. We are privileged. We have our own shit that we have to get in order here. And as the empire and money depreciates and we're going into like this economic spiral because they're trying to keep this house of cards together by building this AI god so they can ask it how to fix the economy. I swear to God, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this ultimate intelligence so they can just ask the intelligence how to fix all our problems. I swear to God, that's what they're trying to do. If that don't work, we're fucked, obviously, because that probably won't work. Probably won't be in our best interest. But while they're trying to do that, we need to try to have some type of community and not be trying to tear apart the fabric of what we all enjoy. Some of these same people that are out there saying that they're oppressed, they get off this goddamn protest because some of these guys are paid protesters. These people are organized, man. They got fucking, what do you call it? Two-way radios. They got a network of motherfuckers following cops around, this crazy shit. But they wasn't doing that when black people getting their heads stumped in. They wasn't out there doing that shit. They wasn't out there when you saw fucking Sean Grayson dump a clip into Sonya Massie like that. They wasn't out there with this whole goddamn network talking about let's follow the fucking cops around and all this. No, but they out there for fucking for the migrants and shit. That's what I'm saying. Y'all, especially fucking liberals, y'all are a fucking joke. Y'all have been a joke. Y'all have been a joke and showed me that y'all have fascist intent since 2020 when y'all were telling everybody that they have to stay in their house and they need to be locked up and all this, and you can't kiss grandma and you're gonna get everybody sick, it's safe and effective, all that shit. I'm not gonna go into it. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all been compromised. Y'all been fucked. Y'all been putting brain motherfuckers, right? All of y'all. Now, you can't pick just a side and say, okay, I'm going to go with just this cause every time there's a new cause. What happened to Gaza? What happened to, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening that we just over fucking look because there's constantly some new trauma for us to get into. But if your life is in shambles, you need to focus on you. Even if your life is not in shambles, don't let all of this fucking drama, this fear porn, drama porn, even the stuff that's produced by me, get to you or get under your skin. If it's not affecting your life, if it's not around you, if it's not doing nothing for you, fuck that, dude. Like, it is what it is. And I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I'm not saying you should just have this super level of apathy, but humans were not meant to take on this much information all the fucking time. Every fucking day there's a new story. Every day there's a new soap opera, and we're not made for that. Like, especially when it's not freaking fiction. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. And I hope you guys are gonna have a fabulous weekend. I'll catch y'all next time. Bye bye.